presents the What's in Your Head podcast.
Digitized live from
your company name here.
the studios in Cape Coral, Florida. It's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up? OG5. Got a question coming straight out the gate. Do I look dark and dingy because I forgot to turn on the ring light around my camera? Or do I not look flushed out for once? Does that actually look better? Maybe I'm not all flooded out. It has been written, and so it has been told, for this day forth, we shall not use the ring light around the camera. It creates too much white in the background. So how are you doing,
Is your
fella?
ring light adjustable?
Yes. I actually have two of them in here. They not only adjust as far as brightness goes, but they offer up different shades. I can go like a more of a pink, a bluish tint, you know, the generic three.
You're bougie.
No, that's basic. That's basic ring light fundamentals there. I mean, these are like, I don't know, you can find them at 5 and below if you look hard enough. So how you been?
I've been all right. Had something a little disturbing happen to me this weekend while I was working out at the gym.
Okay, what's that?
All of a sudden, I get a phone call. Person goes, "Hey, did you call this number?" I said, "Nope. Maybe I accidentally butt dialed you." This guy goes, "I said this is my name when I answered the phone." He goes, "Hey, this is Nick," or whatever his name was. It could have been Steve. I don't remember.
Listen, motherfucker, stop calling me.
And then as soon as I hung up, I continued on my exercises. I would think I was doing leg curls, and then phone rings again. Hey, nope.
Did you call me? I just got a call from this number.
Nope.
You called me. Look, I don't need your timeshare. I don't want your timeshare.
Hey, I got a missed call
calling
from
me.
you.
Hey, what's the deal? Why you calling my old lady for? I'm trying to eat. It's
So
dinner time.
as you know, I called you, and it's clearly my number was spoofed. Thank God it only lasted a couple hours. It fell off pretty quick.
This is actually kind of quaint. In the realm of identity
thanks, Dave.
theft and annoyances. No, they're not even stealing your identity. What I mean by this is quaint is I haven't seen this in probably about 4 or 5 years, but there was a time daily. I remember I was at one job doing for an air conditioning joint, and a guy called, and he was rip shit pissed. He was at the end of his rope. He's like, "Would you guys stop fucking calling me? You guys call me every day about some timeshare bull." I'm like, "Sir, this is a company that makes styrofoam fixtures for buildings. We're not calling any one of these robocallers. They just
so you're at like an EFIS place, basically.
yeah." And so what the robocallers do, they spoof local numbers so that you pick up, because people tend not to answer 888 phone calls or phone calls from other states unless they're bi-coastal. But most of us who grow up in one area or have family maybe in 1 or 2 states, we get a phone call from outside one of those allotted states. We tend not to answer, so they spoof local calls. But I used to see this a lot.
What was interesting is all the calls came from a variety of states back to me.
Yeah.
That was the insane part. So had that,
You sons of bitches.
and then
Remember the days when we just used to fantasize about putting like the world's leading digital spammers on like a junk mail mailing list, and just have fantasies of like mail truck upon mail truck upon mail truck dropping off junk mail at their front door to be inconvenienced, because that's what we used to consider a bad thing, was all the spam we got. But now we literally have people stealing our identities, calling us.
I really wish these spoofers would accidentally start spoofing each other.
Well, and
Call themselves.
And I've said this before, but because we've had our T-Mobile, which I'm spent more time on the phone with those assholes today, but because we've had T-Mobile for like 16, 17 years, our business phone was under Dad's name, and he's at that age now where these spam junk people, they buy mail lists of people of certain demographics, people that they think they can bamboozle. And so I get a lot of the phone calls from the Amazon. Let me know. They just upgraded. It's no longer an iPhone being sent to Ohio for $900. Now it's a iPad for $5,000. They've upped the price to try to get you to freak out and call them, because after all, I didn't buy no iPad.
I tell you, that T-Mobile scam shield, it only lasted about a year or so, didn't it?
Well, I mentioned to T-Mobile. I said, I can't help but notice, because I'm an IT guy, and in my new job, we focus on this, and we do a lot of training stuff on spear phishing and all that crap. And I said, I can't help but notice that I get all these phone calls, and when they hear my voice, they hang up, because they realize that I'm old, but I'm not that old. And it occurred to me that
You mean you're old, but you're not old?
yes, and it occurred to me that because of the age of the person that the phone plan is set up under, that T-Mobile is selling our number. And you know what they said to me? You know what the T-Mobile guy said? What do you think
No.
the T-Mobile guy said?
Sorry about your luck. This is what keeps me employed.
No, you have to log into your account on their website and go to the marketing options. They quaintly put us selling your information to the highest bidder as marketing on their end because they don't get enough off of your $200-300 a month phone plan. They got to sell your phone number on mail lists as part of marketing strategies.
I almost think that should be an option. Okay, before I sign on the dotted line on this new contract, I need you to make sure that I am not included in you selling my information to some bullshit company that you're going to end up trying to use your scam shield
they
to
would
block
be more
later.
than happy to because they'll just put the check mark in when you're signing up. But by default, it's not checked, so that 99.9% of
And
their
a good sales guy would say, hey, by the way, let me do you a solid. You want to be on this or not? I'm pretty sure you don't.
how do you know he's not getting the old spiff? The old spiffaroo.
I doubt it.
Do you do
Right.
spiffs anymore?
What the fuck?
You didn't do a whole lot of sales, huh? You
I
did some sales.
I sell every day.
No, I'm talking
But we
about
don't run on
retail
spiffs.
sales.
At Galleons, but I was like their number one snowboard salesman.
So
when
a
I was
spiff
there.
would be not when you sold that Burton snowboard. Not only would Galleons give you a commission, but you would actually get a spiff. They couldn't call it a commission from the actual vendor. Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so when you worked at a
Never got that.
well, you saw it primarily with software vendors, like when you work at CompuServe, Best Buy, and like when I was working in the tech shop, the sales guys would sell these brand new computers with the whopping 1.74 gigahertz processors. You know, the early stuff back when computers came with half a gig of RAM and it was high performance, and they would try to get us to upsell on Norton. Norton, got some on Norton. Wouldn't do it because Norton was too advanced for its time, meaning it was bloatware. You put that on a brand new machine off the floor, a regular run-of-the-mill machine, and it would slow it down by like 20%. And so I wouldn't sell it, but I would get yelled at because for every one I didn't sell, the company didn't get spiffs because they get they get their beak wet off that spiffs. And
do
all
I
about
get
the
my
spiffs.
beak wet on that spiff?
Yeah, you do too, but they get their beak wet too. And so they would push you hard for the upsell.
See, to me, and even though I sell, I'm not what I call a desperation seller, a used car salesman seller. I don't think it's necessary. That's the problem because when I go to like a car lot or any place that you got these aggressive sales guys, it's up your butt. I'll give them once, I'll give them twice, and then they get the fuck off until I'm ready to come see you.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
My
Look,
power
dude.
move fantasy, like what would you do if you won a lottery type thing? Not even a lottery so much, but just like if I all of a sudden found myself making an inordinate amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Power move, not to buy a Ferrari or something stupid and elementary like that, but like just go someplace like a Volkswagen, an Audi dealer, or Subaru, whatever, Toyota. You want to buy the nicest Tundra on the
Now,
floor.
Our Subaru dealership says that they don't have commissioned sales guys.
And you're planning on buying one in cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they're not as happy about because they don't make the interest off the financing. But
Actually, what's funny is it's them not making the interest anyway. It usually goes to a bank like Slate or or that. So it really, in my opinion, doesn't affect them at all.
But because I known people who worked and sold cars, and I know how the game was played 20 years ago, and it's still the same. But back in the day, they would have a board, a big board. And on the big board was each salesperson's name and how many cars they sold that week and the quota and blah, 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 blah. And, the one guy at the bottom of the chalkboard, maybe he's new to sales, maybe he's lost his touch. He's on his way out the door. He's got one foot in the parking lot, and the sales manager saying, hey, don't get your numbers up. You're gone. Get somebody bigger in here. My power move would be to walk in there. Yeah, I want to buy this car, cash. But I want to buy it off the guy at the bottom of the mail, off the big board so he has a job for another month. And go there and just, because that guy's probably not pushing as hard as the dicks that annoy you that, they're bashing 15 times in 20 feet. Maybe this guy's a little lazy, but it'd just be a power move. You get your car, cash, get a little bit of discount, and then made Steve feel better for the next 2 weeks because he sold a unit.
So what do you got in your liquid fidget spinner there?
Well, this is I guess maybe parents think that teachers like to drink wine, and most of them do, but Carrie has
Yeah.
all these extraordinarily large wine glasses that I always give her as gifts. This one's painted up with like a snowman on it on the beach, hand painted. They've been sitting around for a while. And every once in a while, Carrie will get this fantasy where she's going to join the masses of teachers who drink wine, but she just doesn't have the palate for it. God bless her, she's
Now,
tried.
do
She's
these
kind of like me with sushi. I'll eat it, I'll try it, I'll want it, but I'd rather
You're
have a steak.
disappointing. You're disappointing. Anyway.
No, I've been to many a sushi restaurant.
Oh, I
Just
know.
price, pound for price, take me to a steakhouse. But to answer your question, I'm out of bourbon. I've been out for a while. And Carrie had mentioned that she wanted to get a bottle of wine because, you know, that's the cool thing to do when you're a lady of a certain stature and all that stuff.
Now, is she interested in joining some of these teachers in one of them get drunk and paint pictures
No, because
areas?
she prefers to work and come home because, well, she has social anxiety and don't like to be around people. And she has a bebop at home, so why not be with the bebop? And so, you know, the idea of desire to do that maybe every once in a while, cool, but it's not, you know, she's just not one of those cats who just wants to get drunk and hang out with the
Yeah, me
coworkers all the
neither.
time. Me neither. Which that topic will come up here shortly. So anyhow, long story short, I bought a bottle of high crime,
Short story
19
long.
crimes. Bought a bottle of 19 crimes the other day. And
Well, so you graduated from larceny to 19 crimes?
I bought just a bottle of dark red wine.
Now, is that 19 larcenies?
No, it's just 19 crimes. That's the one you get the app and the little mugshot on the front actually animates and tells the story of the person got arrested.
Get my pun.
No, I got you. I got your pun.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to make my long story shorter. But anyhow, so long story short, got the 19 crimes. She wasn't a fan. She likes more white wine. And so then they had this bottle of 1924, buy one, get one free, because when you buy wine, that's what you want. And there was one that they're both in like a dark green bottle.
Oh, you getting some hooch.
And I bought another red wine, and then I bought one that I thought was perhaps a lighter wine because it had silver cap instead of the red cap, but it wasn't. It was a red wine as well, which I'm drinking now. Long story short, she likes white wine that she can refrigerate, and I've been buying and drinking because it's buy one, get one free, the 1924 Cabernet Sauvignon, however you pronounce it.
Now, was it actually made in 1924?
No, this is a 2019 stock.
Okay, but it's called 1924.
Yeah, 1924 limited edition.
That could be wildly confusing.
Well, 2 bottles for like $7.99, $9. We're not talking high value wine here, but it works. And I've discovered a new way to make street tacos. They're yummy. So I moved on from my normal 3 style of different tacos. Now I've included chicken street style tacos and carne asadas. So I'm moving up my taco game.
There you go.
But
It's nice thing about tacos is you could do pert near anything you want.
Yeah. So right now,
Now
I'm
my
on a wine
question-
kick. To answer your question, long story short.
Gotcha. Ask a question about your tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Street tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Street tacos require what kind of tortilla? Corn or flour?
Most people say corn, but I'm still a flour guy at heart.
Yeah, I'm cracker.
But I always mispronounce it. You know that Verde sauce that's like Hernandez or Hernandez?
Herdez. Herdez.
I'm sure it's the
Herdez.
same shit that's in a glass bottle, but somebody got their marketing cap on and they made this little plastic bottle that said street taco. So I bought some of that.
You know, some street taco sauce.
But no, the 2 I've done is one, I got some low end steak, and our fine friends over at Tapatio make a carne asada, not a rub, but a marinade. You soak it in there for a while.
Now, you're a fan of Tapatio.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a fan of dill pickles?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I like the occasional spear or put them on a sandwich every once in a while. What's up, Morgan Long?
So apparently,
19
somebody
crimes,
makes
yes, sir.
A Tapatio flavored dill pickle. That
No,
just
good.
doesn't sound right to me.
No, either does dill flavor Mountain Dew. But anyhow,
Is there such a thing?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, pretty sure.
I'm sorry, they done fuck Mountain Dew up with all these other flavors.
Where do you fall in the cilantro camp? Because I put fresh cilantro on mine. Carrie
I
didn't
like
cilantro.
cilantro, but it's got to be done correctly. Like The problem I have with the cilantro at one of my favorite places, our favorite places, is Cafe Rio.
They
Is,
cheap out and chop up the stems.
no, they put the whole fucking twig on there. It's everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They chop up the whole stem and everything.
It's like the whole thing. I was like, can you know, I know you're not allowed to use a knife in a fast food restaurant. I get it, but chop that. Take the stems off. Destem that motherfucker. Get the seeds out.
Now,
Chop it up.
I do.
Pack it in.
I guess. Let me begin. I can win battle me. That's a stem. I do cross the
that's
line
stand up.
from Mexican style taco to Southwest style taco. I kind of do a fusion. I never knew this until I worked for Stan Haney and someone called in because Haney had the question, what's the difference between Tex-Mex or Southwest and Mexican food? You know what the key difference between the Tex-Mex and Mexican food is?
No sombrero, but a cowboy hat.
Close, because we're Americans and we bastardize it and we put cheese on everything. True
Oh, yeah.
Mexican food doesn't have much cheese on it at
No,
all.
it's really light. It's usually their type of mozzarella.
Most of the time, their tacos is just usually onions and cilantro and some verde sauce, and that's pretty much it. You don't get the cheese and all the tomatoes and shit.
When I worked in the field when I first got here, it was interesting. So I remember back when I was in the field in Ohio, it was the last time I saw what we called the roach coach.
Blech.
And that thing would pull up, and it looks like it's got like a diamond
It's
insulated.
a vending machine on
deal.
wheels.
It was a vending machine
With
on
a
wheels.
crock
it was gas
pot.
station food right there. Now,
Well, hold on. We had a roach coach that came to Horton, which you had your normal Kansas soda, your vending machine fare, but the thing that separated him is his wife's crock pot full of white gravy. So when you bought your microwavable sausage and biscuits, you could put homemade
get that
white
white
gravy
gravy.
on it.
so
Yummy,
when I
yummy.
came here, the roach coaches were different. They pull up, and it's basically a poor man's version of the fancy food trucks you see today. And it was pretty much all authentic Mexican food.
Yeah, our roach coaches back in the
Shit out-
day.
but what I discovered is us white boys are the ones who wanted the hottest of the hot. I said, look, the guy goes, hell no, man. He's, what some of our Hispanic coworkers and that was like, no, why you no? But man, we get that. They would put the jalapenos and the onions, and they grill them up and throw them on there if you want. It's a lot of cilantro.
See, jalapenos
kinda
are
miss
another
their
weird
stuff.
one. If you, in a pinch, after a few beers, I will get the hockey arena style nachos with the nasty ass pickled fucking jalapenos just to break up the flavor a little bit. But on a normal day, if it's not a freshly cut jalapeno, I don't want it. When I get a Subway, I'm not getting that jarred pickled bullshit. If I'm making tacos at home, I'll cut one up, throw it in the skillet. But I don't like the bananaed, yellowed, pickled jalapenos.
So apparently, speaking of spicy, I must be a jerk. I
An
must not
asshole.
understand. I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway because they don't listen to their show. But
Not like a
Time I
real
met
piece of
Oh,
shit.
wrong one.
Like a
Sorry, I'm
piece
not
of
calling it a piece of shit. I
I
went for
may
this
become
one.
one.
He did it again.
Yeah.
Caused trouble. Hurt someone's feelings. Yet he didn't want to do it. Yes, troublesome people are often people in trouble. They may be mentally ill. Find out how you can help. Write Better
You gotta
Mental
be
Health,
mentally ill
Box
if you're going to eat a
3000,
pickle
New
with a
York
pouch
1,
of
New York.
Tapatio flavored.
Hi, my name is Tom McDonald. Welcome to the
Okay.
show. If you are easily
We got it.
offended, then you
Probably should go.
So, we'll be at a family get together, and one of my brother-in-laws, he'll get out his wings.
Now, is this the guy closely related to Off the Truck Steve?
That's off the truck, Tony.
Oh, yeah, my
and
bad.
it is off the truck, Tony.
Okay.
Oops, I've outed out who it is.
No anonymity on this show.
He had accidentally ordered some hot wings from Little Caesars, just hot, not mild. And he's eating them, and he's like, "My God, my mouth's on fire." I'm like, "You're a fucking pussy." He goes, "Hey, man, I don't do hot. People are just born naturally for hot." I was like, "No. But they say, I think he alluded, you must come from a family that eats a lot of hot food," in which I was like, "No,
I thought
absolutely not. You don't instantly like hot food. It's basically a one-upmanship until you know."
Is that
you can
because of
do
his
it.
steady diets of olives growing up that he's more on the bland side than he is the spicy side? I mean, Greeks are usually the poor man's Italians. I don't know if that's a nice
I
thing to
don't
say or
know,
not. But
man. I just but I don't know. I must have burned all the shit off in my mouth because even habaneros today don't even faze me.
What's up, John
So
Carr?
now I've got to ratchet it up to the ghost pepper. It
Well,
looks
that's a
like.
good
So I
question.
may try that at BW3. See what their ghost pepper wings are like.
That's a good participation question for those. We got a few people in the Facebook Live chat.
I'll switch
That's
back to that.
that's another school, a camp. Where do you fall in that? How hot I like my hot wings? Are you the guy who likes them hot and spicy? Or are you the guy who likes to show off and get the ones that'll literally make you perspire from your forehead as if you just ran a 5K? Which I don't know how anybody can enjoy a meal when they're sweating from every orifice and pores. And
It's
tip
just
forward.
enough sweat just to start to form on top of your head. But it's got to have good flavor. It can't just be fucking hot fire in the mouth. There's got to be flavor attached.
I don't want
That's
to
why I
stain
like
my
the
hat
mango.
over dinner.
That's why I like the mango habanero. Is because you got enough sweet in there with the sweet and the heat. It nails it.
I don't
But
know.
I like it. It's just something. It almost gets the endorphins going. You know.
I don't know if I'd categorize myself as a culinary pussy, but I don't know if I'm afraid to do it. It's not my bag to sit in like a BW3s and just look like I'm like putting sweat stains on my hat and like wishing I had some Irish.
You do that at home, and then you build up that tolerance, and then you're the tough guy when you go in, right?
I mean, I've been known to put some Tony Sassery on my street tacos, but I just don't know.
What's the hottest wings you typically? What is your go-to?
Well, usually I don't consume chicken wings on a solo mission. Usually it's, hey, let's order a pizza and side of wings, and therefore it's a proxy wing that all members of the party can consume in one sitting. I don't usually get my own
Generic
plate.
pizza shop wing.
But like if you and I were to go out to BW3s or something, I would probably get a skosh over, I'm not going to hang out in the honey
you go
barbecue
medium,
aisle.
You go from mild to medium.
Yeah, but see, that's the other thing. And
Two flames.
And as somebody who likes hot sauce and chips, what comes first, medium or mild? Sometimes I want to say mild, but I think, well, wouldn't you have medium and then mild? But without looking, like if you're standing in the grocery store aisle and you're looking and you have that brain fart, like what's hotter, medium or mild?
Fortunately, when you like the hot stuff, you don't even have. That's not even a passing thought. Except for my wife, I have to make sure I get that right when I order something.
I think it's just code for this one has more tomatoes.
This is puss, and this is less puss.
So which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Is it mild or?
Almost there.
I want to say it's.
Wings and
I'm going to say
tenders.
it goes mild, medium, hot, extra hot. Call an ambulance.
Now, what I will say is amateur hour, and I've clowned some in-laws for this too. Is
Honey mustard.
I like chicken. I want the boneless chicken wings.
Oh, you want chicken?
Fuck
You want chicken
You want
nuggets?
chicken nuggets? You want chicken nuggets? Do you want a little
You want 'em shaped like
barbecue
dinosaurs?
sauce with that? Maybe some honey mustard. Yeah.
Speaking of chicken nuggets, there is a reason why that's Sirion is called Nugget.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
This
boy.
child.
Okay, sauces.
What do you want for dinner? I want Wendy's. What do you want from Wendy's? Chicken nuggets. How about we go to Chick-fil-A? No. I want
Medium is hotter than
Wendy's.
mild, by the way.
See, okay. Yeah, I said mild, medium, hot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I had to explain to my daughter, why would you go to a hamburger restaurant for chicken nuggets when I'm offering to take you to a chicken restaurant to get chicken nuggets? She thinks that the Wendy's chicken nuggets are far superior than the Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets.
You gotta try that $50, 50 for 10.
How many times have I sat in a drive-thru, regardless of what? Well, I was going to say regardless of what characters on the sign, but they've all gotten rid of the character. I think maybe they want to build a little more, less of a joke. I think maybe in the 80s and 90s, fast food restaurants kind of got considered a joke because they all had some goofy mascot. Have you noticed even the Wendy's is gone off the Wendy's now? It's just a red square with a white W on it. It says Wendy's. Yeah, like ours, I kicked the little redheaded bitch right off the sign. She's not even on the
Treated
outside.
her like a red-headed stepchild.
No, treated her like McDonald's treated Ronald. There's no more Ronald you barely see. Unless you
Let's-
order a
let's
Happy
face
Meal,
it.
you don't see a Ronald, a Grimace, a Fry Guy, or a freaking so much as a Hamburglar.
That's because they're trying to appeal to adults with the McCafe.
Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you don't go to a hamburger restaurant for chicken. Chicken nuggets is on the menu so that when somebody who enjoys hamburgers goes there and you're not a burger fan, you get the chicken nuggets. You don't go to a hamburger. Anyhow, you don't go to a seafood restaurant for, Italian.
Steak.
Regardless. Yeah, that too.
So on BW3s or Buffalo Wild Wings,
This
sauce
episode of the What's in
scale.
Your Head podcast is brought to you by BW3s. Find the nearest location near you.
If you're willing to sponsor our show, that'd be great.
We do have some
So
out here now.
between mild and medium, there are two sauces. Mild is the lower heat, medium is the higher heat.
What's in between mild and medium? Dip a toe in it?
So evidently Parmesan garlic is still hotter than mild. And the one that may throw you is honey barbecue.
Really? That's above mild?
Yep, right before medium.
Maybe that's how the honey began in that version of barbecue sauce, is to take the bite out of it a little bit.
Could be. Then it goes spicy garlic, orange chicken, Asian zing. I wonder if that's more like a ponzu. Caribbean jerk. You fucking Caribbean jerk. Jammin' jalapeno. Thai curry. Nashville hot. Original buffalo. Hot. Mango habanero wild. And then blazing Carolina Reaper. I may need to do that just because it's got half the calories of the mango habanero.
Now, in last week's episode, I prefaced this week's episode with tales of wonder and glee about you wanted to talk about the ever-increasing level of narcissism at the gym.
Oh, dear God.
Are you still amped up on that topic, or do you want to pass?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, I've been talking about it off and on, even going back to the days when Dave was here, and some of the things.
Speaking of that, anybody can do a welfare check and let us know how Dave's doing.
Dude, every
That'd be
once
awesome.
in a while, I see a random homeless dude walking around, and I double take, like, nope, it's not him.
Yeah, he's got his nose. Keep on moving. Sorry.
But anyhow,
I mean, that is sad, but still.
you've experienced something that I have been complaining about for a while. Why don't you fill the audience in while I consume more wine?
Well, I've never seen it this bad. I think narcissism has actually gotten worse since the beginning of COVID. This has definitely fallen off bad at the gym, but I go pretty damn early in the morning. Now, when it's at 5 in the morning, you think that everything's probably pretty good. It's actually still fairly busy. But I go in, all right, let's go over to the bench.
The bench.
Okay, there's like 3 weights, 125, 135, 145. Where the fuck are the goddamn plates at? I got to kind of chase around and steal from other people's benches while they're benching just to use it.
Because Enrique's down there on the fucking leg press, and he can squat 850 pounds, but instead of actually going over to the squat bench, he's using the type of machine you sit on and push. And so he stole all the 45 plates, plus has his girlfriend standing on the bottom of the thing. Therefore, there's no plates for you to bench press with.
Well, and another thing I had noticed is when you walk towards it, our weight room is actually called the Advanced Training Center. But right next to it, there's a stairway going upstairs. Yes, my gym has 2 floors.
Mine too.
It's not quite a Lifetime Fitness.
That's
with
where they
3
put the treadmills.
That's where they put the treadmills, but yet people still take the elevator up.
Yep. We got
There's a
one of those
long
too.
corridor that goes through some exterior doors. Now, a lot of times I do see some people over there with plates doing their CrossFit style training.
Fireman carries and whatnot.
Fireman carries, mixing them in with their burpees. But then you'll look over at Inbred Jed in his Huck shirt. And
Now, he wants you to think he's benching 45-pound plates, but he actually went over to the squat area and stole the girl's 25-pound plate that's the same diameter and width.
and then I look over there and Knucklehead Jones has got like every fucking not barbell, but
Dumbbell.
dumbbell that you can imagine, because the 35s, the 40s, the 30s, the 35s, and the 40s and 45s are the most popular.
Now, this irks the shit out of me because I see this at Crunch, but Crunch ain't so bad because they probably have 420s, 425s, 430s. They have about, now when I say 4, I'm talking like almost 4 pairs. So 8 individuals, maybe 6.
Yeah, my gym has like 10 flat benches alone.
And so at Planet Fitness, it was worse. Planet Fitness is more of a cardio gym that has some weights for people wanting to get a little definition. And they only have 2 sets of each. And so you would walk over the bench, and the 20s, 15s would be gone, the 20s would be gone, the 25s would be gone, and the 30s would be gone.
And it wasn't even a legit bench there either, was it?
Oh, it was. It was.
I mean, wasn't it guided though?
No, that was on the, not on the free weights. That's on the
Okay.
bench press. I'm talking about the
Okay.
dumbbells for curls, and
Okay.
And you would look around, and there'd be 2 chicks, there'd be 2 chicks working
In a
out
cup?
together. 2 chicks, 1 35-pound dumbbell. No, 2 chicks, and each one would have, Sheila's over here, Tina's over here. She's got the 15, she's got the 15, she's got the 20, she's got the. So the 2, not only Not only did they each decide to take 3 different weights of dumbbells, but they both stole the exact same. So between the two of them, they could rotate off. I'm going to curl 20, you do the 25s. Or I'm going to curl the 15s, you do the 20s. No, we're both going to curl 15s, so we both got to have 15s. And heaven forbid we include in our workout walking over to the goddamn rack and swapping out.
Well,
We're going to
Don,
bring
I-
everything over to us so that
Don,
no one else
we
in
got
the
to
gym
do
can
this
use it.
because we can't screw up our workout and then somebody grabs those weights.
Or we're too lazy and we don't want to sweat because we don't want to have to put in the extra mileage to walk back and forth
Right.
between our
But-
workout spot.
But sometimes I do think it's because, like, my gym is so busy, I think it is claiming your fucking territory.
Okay,
right?
well, you and I are claiming our territory, but we would probably, even though we'd be at a level of dick, you and I would probably share instead of each of us having our
Oh, yeah.
own. There's no reason when you have a workout buddy. That's like
Guess
having
what?
that's like having a workout buddy.
You
and
got to
you're
rest
both-
between sets. So while you're resting between sets, this
Yeah.
person can do it. And
That'd be
then
like-
so forth. I mean, technically, and they play it all the time there, is even when you're on the weight machines, when you're resting, you're supposed to be able to get off and let somebody
I've had
else
people
rotate
tag in before. It's a little weird, especially when it's on a machine where you.
I don't know you.
Well, it's not that. I'm 6'5", so some people not only they got to get in, they got to adjust the height and all that. And so
Oh, it's kind of like getting into the wife's car.
yeah, it's like, but that's between every rep. So I've had a few people. I've done that before too. All right, somebody be benching 245-pound plates. Okay, I can get in on that. So
Speaking of getting into the wife's car, yes, that is the ultimate
well, hello
answer
there.
to if you don't to not putting down the toilet seat. Okay, let's come to an agreement. I put down the toilet seat. You adjust the car seat back, so I don't have to fold myself up and get in.
Problem with the putting down the toilet seat. Why do they get it both ways?
Well, they don't. You can make them put the car seat back to where it goes.
No, they want you to put the toilet seat up first, do your business,
Oh yeah.
and then put it down. How about we reverse it? And if it concerns you that much, how about you put it up when you're done, and we'll reverse the practice. Why do I
I
gotta
may
do
fall
both?
in the dark. Well, then you'll learn a
Then you'll
lesson,
learn to
won't
put
you?
the shit down, just like we got to learn to lift it up. Can't have it both ways.
Yep.
I told the story last week, but you weren't here, and so I was at my gym. Carrie was at physical therapy, and so I went at the undesirable time of 5:30, 5:45, when everybody
Ooh,
and their
peak.
goddamn grandmother. Got all the high school kids there, all the college kids there. You got all the corporate people doing the fitness class over in the CrossFit training area, so it's all blocked off, which means I can't do my 47 rung monkey bars. That's fine. I'll adapt and overcome, and I try to make a smallest footprint as possible. I'm aware that this place is goddamn busy, so I'll go grab my 20s one at a time. Thanks. I'll find my little spot and just take up a small footprint as possible.
You
I'll
can't do one at a time if you're doing 2 curls. You got to take both.
Well, I isolate one, so
Yeah.
we'll hold the 20-pound, isolate it and rotate, or I'll do super confirmation, whatever called curls. But anyhow, and so I'm
Superset.
I'm fluttering around. I'm finding little nooks underneath desks to work out, and anywhere I'm out of people's way, I'm there.
And let's think about this. This is the biggest, tallest guy in the place. May not be the biggest guy, but
I
at
got
least
probably the
tallest.
longest wingspan, and so I'm
And he's taking up. He's like a little.
I'm literally hiding under desk. I got my Cascade
Little bull
pond
weevil over
hopper.
there.
It's one sling book bag with me. I'm got on my back when I'm walking, so I'm not taking up unnecessary space. This place is packed.
all over there like Quasimodo and shit.
Yes, I've got the hunchback going. No one rocks the bells harder than me than Quasimodo, and or Jaworski for that matter. But anyhow, this is your basic gym. It's set up in a square. You got 2 stories. So you have a square. One end of the square, you got a thoroughfare going to the locker rooms, and you have basically 3 thoroughfares cutting this thing in half, and then you have the CrossFit area. This place is super packed. I know when they do the CrossFit, they don't touch the 25-kilo, not dumbbells, but the not the medicine ball, but the you get the fucking thing. It's like a medicine ball. The handle, it's a fucking, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those
You're
things.
talking about the kettlebell.
Kettlebell, yeah. So I grabbed 2 25 kilos. For those who playing at home, that's 51 pounds a piece. That's right. I got 2 of them. And I'm doing fireman carries. Fireman carries with 25-kilo kettlebells, 1 in each hand. It's not, anything to be ashamed of. And so there is the last thoroughfare, if you will, has a line of machines, then the aisle, then a line of machines, then the wall. And it's about 60 yards long. So I'm doing a 60-yard 105-pound firemen carry. Look at me. Look at the camera. I'm walking. People are, fixing their machines. So I'm kind of,
Blink, blink.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of going around people. There's a trainer. I know he's a trainer because his shirt says trainer on it.
Oh no, is this the ski instructor version of the situation you got to run into?
No, this is a,
Kids French frying down the hill. Somebody's
No.
in your way.
if the guy was training, I would understand, but that's what's even worse. The guy has a shirt on that says trainer, so I know he's a trainer, has a Crunch Fitness logo. He's standing in the middle of the thoroughfare talking to a young lady. Not training the young lady, not
Oh, he's
spotting,
macking on the young lady.
not
probably.
spotting a young lady, but
Mhm.
my point being is he could easily at any time move in between two machines that have plenty of space. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, I'm walking. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. I got 110 pounds in my hand. He posts up and stands his fucking ground. So as I'm walking him, I
Ah,
have to
shit.
rotate.
Now you got a Mexican standoff.
No, I have to rotate like this and squeeze between him and someone who's re-racking their equipment. Once again, he's not spotting, he's not training, he's socializing on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm twisting my upper torso because if I want to turn, I would hit him in the dick with the fucking 21 kilo.
You couldn't
kettlebell.
have yelled out, "Move upside, let the man come through."
Well, here's definitely not in this fucking situation.
Why is he? Would he throttle you?
No, because some might say in this situation I would have represented the man.
Well, that would have been even funnier.
And so I turn around by the elevator, interestingly enough, and I stop and I pause. I put my kettlebells down, pick them back up, start proceeding the other direction.
Uh-huh.
He's now facing the other direction. I look at him, he's looking at me. I look at him, he's looking at me. Once again, stance his ground, post up. Fuck you, I ain't moving. Got to rotate my torso again. Long story short, 6 passes. This guy is supposed to be a trainer.
Yeah, he's showing you a thing or two. It sounds like.
Most people who sign up to be trainers are fucking. They love seeing people get into shape. They love seeing people trying. Don't matter how big, how small, how skinny, how fat you are.
Apparently, he was on a
Most
mission.
trainers. But the fact that you're on the clock, you have a shirt on with a fucking logo, and you're not actively doing anything, and you refuse to move out of the way of a paying member who's got 110 pounds worth of fucking kettlebells hanging off his arm, so he has plenty of room to work out in this already overly crowded gym. All you had to do
Goes
was
back to the narcissism.
all you had to do is step back. One step back. Let me pass. Then go back to flirting to the girl. Once again, it's different if he was like spotting somebody and I'm expecting him to back. He was standing out in the. He could have just
Okay,
stepped
I'm
two.
threading the needle. Watch out! I'm coming through.
Exactly. He could easily just took 2 steps back and be standing in between the machines where no one was at. No one was on either
Shooting
one
a
of these
gap.
machines. But no, I had to rotate and move and stretch and convol. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, one, is he like a real trainer or is he an employee who was told, hey, you're training today because we already got 2 people on the front counter? It's like he seemed like
I
he did
think
not
was
want
just
to
hitting
fucking
on
be
it.
there.
Sounds like he was hitting on a lady.
Yeah, but if you're hitting on a lady.
Or is it somebody he knew? And he just
Either
got
way.
blinders on and got into the conversation.
No,
And-
blinders on is doesn't see me. He literally made eye contact with me as I was walking towards him.
Now, did you have to look down at him?
Yes, but I looked down anyhow because I grew up with bad low self-esteem, and I always look down on
Oh, I
the
thought it
ground to
was
make
just because
myself
you're
look
tall.
shorter.
You know, I like my wife. I tell her, don't get short with me because she's 5'2". And
That's
she
why I
says,
found so much
am
money in
short.
my life because I'm always staring at the ground trying to make my my
Short
height
people are
shorter.
angry because they're staring at asses all day. Stinky butts. Oh.
Well, it's like the old, like a midget at a
Here's
like a little person at a urinal. I was staying on my toes.
right. One time we went to a bar with our cousin Matt and Lisa and everybody, and me and Matt went to go use the restroom, and I saddled up to a urinal and I said, "Hey Matt, that short one's for you over there." He fucking did not like that at all. Fuck you.
I don't like the urinals at the restaurants where they don't stagger the height. They just say, fuck it, we're going full 2nd grade elementary, and so you feel like you're pissing
Our
on the
one at
floor.
work's like that. We got one at work that's like that, and it's like, stand closer. It's shorter than you think. I was like, then I'll piss on top of it.
Or how about you put the fucking cat grass in the bottom that cuts down on the splatter back? The nice places will
Yes.
put that little fucking 2-inch foam, that 2-inch rubber.
'Cause guess what a urinal cake does? It
That's
creates
its
a
whole-
lot of ricochet.
Well, some of the nice places now, it's like a rubber 2-inch tall rubber forest, so that when you pee into it, it captures the splashback and you don't get.
Maybe I should give my boss that idea. Hey, can you replace that with this?
Yeah.
I think you'll have a cleaner situation because guess what? When field guys come in, including some of the office people, fucking shitbags.
We had
like
a
second
country
graders.
bar that actually just cut the front off of 2 beer kegs and urinals for days.
The Hustler Club, their urinals are shaped like lips.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Don't wait
Gotcha.
too long. You may not be able to piss. But anywho, so I was speaking. One last thing on the gym. I was scrolling through the old Instagram, and Robert Oberst had a post, and I didn't know this was a thing. And I had asked a friend, my coworker who works out a lot, and he didn't think it was a thing. But Robert Oberst clearly made it look like it was a thing. When you're lifting, numbers in or numbers out. And people actually had a fit about it. Oh, you only have numbers out to show people what you're lifting. Like, any idiot who knows what they're doing can tell what the plate is by just the size of it. Yes?
Aren't the numbers on both sides?
No.
Maybe that's the cheap equipment I use. Like on plates, the numbers on both sides?
No. It's solid on one side and, numbered on the other.
Now, on a bench
I
press.
know he tried to turn it into a TP toilet papered over or under type situation.
Well, on a
And
bench.
by the way, if it's under, you're a psychopath.
No, because you can tear it off.
You're an under guy?
Yeah, you pull it forward. And
You
tears
afraid
right
that you're going to be? You need to see the spiders down there because you got a lot of bugs.
off. Yeah, it's just as you pull it forward, it tears.
It's
off.
over top.
It's underneath.
Listeners,
You pull it towards you. I don't know what the big deal is. You pull it towards you.
it's on top.
But
So
like
you
on,
can't get a
on
hold
the
of it
bench
and
press,
roll it off real easy.
unlike the bench, on some of the bench presses, the weights are on the peg on the side, right?
Correct. Yes.
And the numbers are out, so dumb people know which. And so you slide them off. You simply lift up and push them on. You don't rotate. So he pulls it off, rotates it, and then puts it
Well,
on.
again, like my gym, they're all haphazard anyway. They're in and out when they're if they're racked. A lot of times it's already got 45s on it. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm like, okay, this is actually okay.
Yeah, and I used to throw a 25 and a 10 on, and then do like
What?
45, 25, and then a 10.
Oh yeah.
Do like 10, take the 10 off, do 10, take the 25 off, do 10.
Oh, reverse pyramid.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I start with the 45, then I add. I've been able to add lately. It's nice. Things are going well on that front. So, just will do that for you.
let's talk Cobra Kai, shall we?
Oh yeah,
New season's out.
I know.
I only found out because I was flipping
I
through
binged
Netflix.
it all weekend.
Good. You'd be the perfect person to have this conversation with.
Actually, wife binged it. I just kind of tagged along.
I'm kind of there now too. I'm viewing by proxy, and that's what I wanted to bring
I've
up.
already got predictions for the next season. So
When she said to me, "Ooh, there's a new Cobra Kai season," I said, "I hope not." I like
they're
season
going
one.
to ring that towel.
That's
threadbare.
that's perfect for the conversation I have written down. I like season one because it was on the nose, it was funny, it was in on the joke, it made fun of itself. Season 2 still had a little bit of that, but by the end of season 2, the producers and Netflix said, "Hey, we got a fucking monster by the tail. Let's do what Disney does with the Star Wars franchise and fucking just ride this thing as far and hard." So now,
Although I will stop you right there. I actually have been catching up on some of the Disney Star Wars franchise stuff. Outside of the movie, some of the other shit are actually pretty good and self-aware. Anything that Jon Favreau did for Star Wars, fucking fan of.
but my point is, it's no longer making fun of itself. It's no longer in on the joke. Now it's taking itself way too serious.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like I'm watching a modern day karate version of 90210 and or Melrose Place. It
Yeah.
has that feel to it now. And like I said, season 1 and 2 was fun. It was in on the joke, a lot of 80s throwback references. It's a lot of breaking the fourth wall, a little see what we did
The
there.
teenage drama.
And now it's
the-
just- it's
you
like,
know, which
okay.
it always was anyway, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it was
but-
always about a chick.
But when that show came out on the pilot, when it was originally written for YouTube Premiere or YouTube Red, which it failed on, that chick was already 24. So now that chick's like 27 years old playing a
and she
senior in
looks
high
like she
school.
really aged between the last 2 seasons.
Well, it's because she's like fucking
Got
27.
fucking crow's feet and shit.
When
now.
when she did episode 1, where she was playing a sophomore in high school, she was fucking 23. Now she's like 27 playing a senior. But I don't know. To me, it's no longer
How
taken.
come all these teenagers can be naked in movies? Isn't that illegal? I'll give you a little secret. Those fuckers are at least 25.
You know, that was one of the cool things about going back and watching some of the early high school movies, because
I have not done that.
like the Pretty in Pinks and stuff. I think Emilio Estevez is a little old, but a majority of them were of age. They were of that age. It wasn't until like the early 90s that they start putting 21, 24-year-olds playing 15 to 16-year-olds in movies. But anyhow,
Hold on, let me get rid of this whiskey voice.
so anyhow, I'm watching Cobra Kai because I'm already invested, but I'm not excited about it. I actually filed the dog's nails through most of the episode with Petty Paws, which isn't exactly a quiet endeavor. But might I suggest instead, if you're not ready to bore yourself to tears with Cobra Kai, but you want some brain dead TV, might I suggest the most important question on the internet?
This is a bowling
Is
ball.
it cake?
And this is a cake.
Oh my god,
What? This show is insane. You are all here because you are all talented at making cakes that look like everyday objects. That is cake. And now
I made it
that
through one
incredibly
episode.
specific skill can earn you thousands of dollars. Wow.
Like, there are people saving lives, and I am making cake look like other things.
Let's keep those squeaks down. I'm trying to play chess over here. Judges, here's how this works. Only one of those cake stands is holding an actual cake.
Oh.
One of these is a cake? We're not agreeing. This isn't working.
Now, as the guy who watches the show about the people who make glass blowing objects, it's not far of a crutch that I would watch this show. I will say that it was Saturday night. There's nothing on. I said, let's watch Is It Cake? And I went into it jaded, bitter, salty, if you will. I said, this is dumb. This is a whole show based off a TikTok trend. Can't believe I'm going to watch an episode of a show that is a direct rip off of TikTok, and I bet they won't even mention it once. I was going to say, like, five episodes later is, like, totally brain dead, but it's just laying in bed, just like, this is actually kind of interesting. And the funny thing is that Mikey E guy, whatever, the host, apparently he's, like, late Saturday Night Live, like, long after I stopped watching it. And so when I watch him, like, he seems like a John Henson ripoff from Wipeout.
Yes, indeed. Now, that being said, I think it's less cheesy than the Netflix contestant show called The Floor is Lava.
Exactly, but my point is It Cake sounds dumb, but it's actually better than you would think it is. And I went into it ironically and ended up watching like entire season 1 over the weekend. So while you were binge watching Cobra Kai, I was trying to figure out if that bowling ball was cake or not.
What did I also start watching on AMC Plus? Walking Dead Stories. They've now got like 1 episode stories, and they've actually got big actors on this. It's insane. But like the first one was basically an ex-Ohio State football player played by what's his name that hosts America's Got Talent? Strahan. Oh, I'm sorry. It was like Michael Strahan, and it was just kind of interesting. He's going from Ohio to find this other. He was a prepper, to go find this other prepper, and it's been about 2 years into it.
What show is this?
Walking Dead Stories.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So I'm still in the Walking Dead world a little bit. Going to finish up the final season. Then there allegedly is going to be a Carol and Daryl spinoff.
Oh boy.
And then a Negan and Maggie spinoff, believe it or not.
Lame.
Now you actually, there was some decent character development there.
The
near
dude
end.
split her husband's wig open with a baseball
Yeah,
bat.
well, that was a whole dramatic thing. I mean, this is like 6, 7, 10 years after that now.
That's why I stopped watching the show.
So
Not because Glenn died, but because these motherfuckers wanted him dead, and there's like 38 times through the entire season that one person was in a room alone with him unguarded, and they still couldn't pull the trigger. Yeah.
well, I tell you, I'm actually a fan of Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And it goes back to Supernatural, where he plays Sam and Dean Winchester's dad. Which the guy who plays Dean Winchester is in The Boys as Soldier Boy.
Gotcha.
Have you seen Soldier? Are you caught up on The Boys?
Yep.
That's
I believe
solid. It was a little
Now,
X-rated at the beginning
Did
of
they
this
pu-
season.
did they pull a mid-season finale, or was that what I'm waiting on, or did they do a full season this year?
I think they did a full season.
Oh, that's hard to tell.
What's that?
Sometimes it annoys me with these streaming shows where they don't have a consistent episode time. Some episodes are 38 minutes, some are an hour and a half. It's like, can we do a?
That's when you're not hemmed in by a structured, broadcast timeline and commercials. You can
Yeah,
do
I
what you
guess.
want.
Started watching on Amazon, even though I haven't seen any of the movies in a long ass time. What was it, Power of the Rings or Ring of Power, whatever the Lord of the Rings spinoff?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's pretty good so far. Have you watched that at all?
Is that the one with Bilbo?
I don't know
Bilbo?
yet. I do know. I think there's a character on there. I don't know. I'm
Is there
not a
hobbits?
fanboy. Hardfoots. Kind of like hobbits, but they're called hardfoots.
Oh, this is where Gollum comes from, I think. Hardfoot.
I think this is the origin stories of Gandalf. It's pretty crazy.
And Gollum, probably.
If the person I think is Gandalf, I think this is his very weird origin story. And I think maybe the reason he doesn't understand the language is because it's kind of one of those things where you don't realize that when you're watching the little Hardfoot speaking in English that technically they're speaking their own language. And maybe at some point we'll realize the reason he's speaking in grunts is because they don't understand his language. But anyhow, I'm pretty sure it's Gandalf, but it's going to be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I have not watched any of that stuff in a long time. I was never huge.
I
into
wasn't
it when the
either, and
books was out.
I've been seeing advertisements. Like I said, I think the first movie and like the last one. I didn't even watch the whole series. I wasn't a Lord of the Rings fanboy. Most of I know about Lord of the Rings is what you read the books, and when I was in middle school and you watched the '70s version with the anime live action overdub on top.
Oh, I remember that. That was actually pretty cool.
But yeah, so check out Is It Cake? And then go swing over to Amazon and watch that Lord of the Rings show before you spend any time watching fucking that one show that I lost interest in. Oh, Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So much lost interest, I forgot the damn name.
Have you checked out Terminal List?
Not yet.
That's a good one.
It's on my story.
What's that?
It's on my list.
News and shit. News and shit. Now here's Gordon with some news and shit.
A little early, we're calling in from the Las Vegas, Nevada news desk. We're pulling a little early one because I had to get up at 4 o'clock this morning to take the kid to the Raiders for the JROTC, and I forgot this on my list, and I showed up and no one was there. 5 a.m. Football lights were out. The pool was empty. No track stars running around. Just two lonely parents in their cars sitting on a side road of Cape Coral wondering where the fuck everybody's at.
So she's still working with the ROTC?
After she took a week off, but we won't get into that because that involves an Alexa getting thrown through the screen of a 65-inch big screen TV.
Ooh.
That was given to me, so I don't give a fuck because it's in her room, which means now she has no way to play Xbox, so I'm happy. But anyhow, sitting in front of the Cape Coral High School at 4:34 in the morning, wondering where the fuck everyone is, because interestingly enough, and I'm sure Las Vegas high schools probably do the same, and that is all exterior sports teams shall conduct exterior sports prior to school.
Extracurricular is what you're looking for.
No, I mean exterior because it's outside.
Oh.
Don't give a fuck what you're doing in the gymnasium. But all the exterior sports had to take place in the morning because it's too fucking hot in the afternoon and we don't want heat stroke. So that means the football team, the swim team, the track team, and the JROTC Raiders have to show up to high school at 5. And
Dark o'clock early?
I think the swimmers get there at fucking 4 because when I'm pulling at 4:45, this bitch is already in the water.
Oh, they're hardcore.
Yeah. So
makes you feel like a fucking slacker, doesn't
pull
it?
up to the complex and nary a light on, nary a fucking swimming in the pool. Just two lonely cars locked outside of a parking lot wondering what the fuck. Wait until 5:15. All the other parents had left. Still nary a soul. And I said, well, fuck this. We're going home. before we go home, one of the things I do now that I drop her off Monday through Wednesday, which makes doing 9:30 podcast fun, is after I drop her off, I head back home so that I can work out because I'm already up. Well, I go back to bed. But I know that Carrie's alarm clock goes off at 5:30, so on the way en route to my house, I stop and get coffee. Or milkshakes, depending on the temperature of your coffee. Stop at Starbucks, and there's a sign on this Stein der window, drive-through that is. Sorry for the inconvenience. Due to the citywide boil water notice, we will not be open.
I did not know you had a citywide boil.
To which
water
I said,
notice.
aha! I looked at her and I said, where do you get your water at when you're out there running? Bottled water. Do you take showers after work? She said, yes. I said, aha! That's why there's no one out there working out, because there's no showers to be had, so they canceled it.
So you all had a boil water alert, huh?
Then I remembered I got a text message from the school last night. Said, there's a boil water notice. Check your email. And I said, uh-oh, this is on us. We didn't check our email.
Well, you think you would have checked on the news or whatever other media.
So I get home and Carrie's up. Well, Carrie gets waken up because Bailey starts barking because Sariana's in her room sneezing. Carrie's like, why isn't she at the Raiders? I'm like, aha, there was an ordeal. There was a thing. We need to check her email. She checks her email, and nowhere in the fucking email does it say that exterior curricular activities are cut off and canceled for the day. It simply says, don't worry, we will provide water bottles for your kids' hydration needs. So now I'm back to annoyed. The school district sends out a text message telling you to check your email for updates based on the interruption of regular schedules upon the boil water notice. Wouldn't you include that all curricular activities that start at 4:30 fucking a.m. are canceled so that parents can sleep in for once?
Oh, we forgot about the suckers who get up early.
Yep.
So what happened to cause the water boil deal?
The world may never know. It don't apply to me. I'm on well water.
So you didn't know about it either until
I'm on well water, so it don't affect us. Apparently something happened in the works.
Somebody gummed up the works, huh?
But I laughed to myself that a Starbucks would be closed because it's a boil water notice.
Hey, a news you won't hear. The lake went up 4 feet.
By design, you have to boil water to make coffee. So why would a coffee shop be closed?
Actually, it's just under boil.
Well, that's because, friends, Starbucks doesn't sell coffee anymore. They sell more milkshakes than they do coffee, which is why they removed coffee from their name. And so, yes, you do heat up coffee, but you can't
Now,
boil
milkshakes, you're
fucking
talking
milkshakes.
about the iced cappuccinos, correct?
Yes, milkshakes.
So,
Because guess who was open? Dunkin' Donuts and Urban Buzz Coffee.
so in the summertime, I have switched to iced coffee or iced cappuccino at home.
Pussy.
Nope, not a pussy. It's 110 goddamn degrees outside.
Yes, and your grandfather would
So-
still order a big black fucking cup
And
of
it's
coffee
so
and drink it.
funny because I've heard you say, "Oh, I wouldn't drink cold coffee after it sat around for a while." Well, you do realize that they are completely different, right? When it hits the ice, it instantly cools it versus sitting around, getting stagnant, getting cold.
There's certain.
And I do drink coffee that sat around on my desk for a little
No,
while.
I know we're
Has
not.
gone cold.
I know we're supposed to be talking news, but there are certain things that I can't eat in temperatures in which they do not belong. This is the whole reason why I don't eat
Who
potato
says
salad.
it doesn't belong in that temperature?
This is why I don't eat potato salad. I don't want
What?
ice cold, congealed, mayonnaise covered fucking potatoes. I want my potatoes
Oh, it's
raw
fucking
or
delicious.
warm. Egg salad.
Delicious.
No thanks. Cold coffee. My coffee gets cold. You know what I do? I go to the fucking microwave.
You
because
want to
I drink that
survive
shit
World War
block.
II? That's that era they had. That's all they had was egg salad and potato
I
salad.
still, well, it's different if I'm out camping. I'll eat fucking Spam out of camp. I don't give a shit. But,
Oh, so it has to do with what's going on.
oh, absolutely. It's all about the
Okay.
mind state.
When in Rome.
But I still drink
When
black
in Sparta,
coffee.
be
I
gay.
still drink black coffee at work.
Yes.
And I just microwave that shit and warm it back up because I don't want cold coffee. There's just certain flavors
Have
that.
you tried a Starbucks or even a Black Rifle cold?
I'm sure
cold
there's
canned
3 in my
drink?
refrigerator right now. Think you know. Carrie wakes up and pop a top again and drinks it down.
Do yourself and her a favor. Go when you're maybe at the gas station because they're selling them even at 7-Eleven. Pick her up a can of the Black Rifle cold drink, like the vanilla or even the mocha. She'll drink that, and then she'll try to go back to drink a fucking Starbucks, and Starbucks will taste like garbage.
She actually prefers Dunkin' Donuts.
No, seriously.
And now back to Gordon and the news.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Why? Because of Walter White. What was found was an alligator, drugs, guns, money. But where's the tiger?
Or what we call a Saturday in Miami.
Uh-huh. And
Or
this is
Lehigh.
coming in from the AP. An alligator, drugs, guns, and money were seized during a raid on 2 homes in Albuquerque last month. But New Mexico wildlife officials said Saturday that they are still searching for a young tiger they believe is being illegally kept as a pet.
Do you trust Reptile Guy?
You get Reptile Guy and Big Cat Guy together, we got a problem.
That's a crew that hangs out in similar tents. That's for sure.
These tents are, yes,
They hang out in similar tents.
in similar trailer parks, more likely. But investigators think the tiger is with somebody in New Mexico or a nearby state, according to the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish Conservation officers. The animal was believed to be less than 1 year old and weigh just under 60 pounds.
Oh, the alligator or the tiger?
No, we're talking about the tiger that's missing.
Oh, okay, the tiger.
But tigers, as we know, can grow to be quite large.
Yeah, they
maybe
can.
somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 pounds.
Depends on the size of aquarium you keep them in.
Yeah. According to the department, calling large meat-eating animals such as tigers and alligators a clear danger to the public. Wild tigers are listed globally as an endangered species. Alligators, on the other hand, were listed as endangered in the United States from 67 to 87, but today they thrive quite nicely in the wild and around Cape Coral.
And to quote the New Mexican wildlife officer when having to deal with the alligator, I didn't sign up for this shit or I would have moved to Florida.
Yeah. And the alligator that was seized by authorities is, he's a small guy at about 3 feet.
This little baby.
And it was taken to a wildlife facility after state conservation officers and federal, state, and local police served a search warrant on August the 12th. But the Albuquerque police reported a 26-year-old man was arrested.
It's always the 26-year-olds.
It's not going to be a girl. It's just not with an alligator in the mix. Not with the tiger, maybe, but with an alligator in the mix.
How
And the
dare
drugs and the
you
gun and the
assume
money.
her gender in 2022?
Whatever. Anyway, they seized 2 pounds of heroin,
Heron.
10.5 pounds or 4.75 kilos of cocaine, 49 pounds or 22 kilos of marijuana, 17 rifles, 1 pistol, fentanyl, and Xanax pills, and nearly $42K in cash.
Now, how many of these rifles do you think were like 22s and high points?
I'm sure at least 5 pistols were.
Yeah, I'm sure there's at least
And
one.
I bet they had the fucking dollar bills all over them.
Probably at least one spray-painted gold AK in the mix, too.
So needless to say, Albuquerque is looking for a missing tiger. If you hear anything, please call their department.
But not when it comes to the alligator.
Now coming in from our friends at Beijing.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Oh, it's a huge stretch. Chinese man trapped aloft in a hydrogen balloon for 2 days.
Now, for those of
Is he
you
trying to escape?
playing along at home, there's safe harbor in a few letters. Now, if he said Chinaman, then you can write the letters and complain and cancel us. But he said Chinese man, therefore there's a difference.
And this is from the AP also. So, because he is a Chinese man, he is a citizen of China. That would be their version of the
Reluctant
American man.
citizen. Is it kind of-
Or that is the equivalent of Florida man. Maybe this is Florida Chinese man. Chinese state media says a man has been found safe after he spent 2 days aloft in a hydrogen balloon traveling about
I saw
200
that thumbnail.
miles.
How did he get in that predicament?
I haven't. Well,
Let's
get there.
find out.
Let's find out, shall we? After it became untethered.
He wanted a selfie.
Oh, you know what? I bet it was one of them fairs where you can go and you can pay some money to be in a tethered balloon and go up about 50 feet. The man, identified only by his surname, Hu, or is it Hu, H-U, and partner were collecting pine nuts Sunday in a forest park in Heilongjiang province.
Only in China does a man get in trouble while collecting pine nuts.
Pine nuts. Located in northeastern China, when they lost control of the balloon and sailed off. So apparently, when one collects pine nuts, he must do it from a hydrogen balloon.
It's better for the environment.
Yep. The other person jumped to the ground and searched. A search was launched for the escaped balloon and Hu.
How hard would it be to see a fucking giant weather balloon floating around eastern China?
At least it wasn't a chair with like 100 balloons on it. State broadcaster CCTV, not to be confused with closed caption television,
Communist
said
China
rescuers were able to contact a man by cell phone the following morning and instructed him.
This guy gets service strapped to a goddamn weather balloon, 2,000 or more feet.
It's not a
in the air.
weather balloon. It's just a.
But I can't get
helium.
service from T-Mobile when I leave my office, and it takes 20 minutes for my phone to connect to their fucking network. Gotcha.
Because you get coming off of Wi-Fi.
I've had this problem since they started rolling out 5G, and it's with my Samsung Galaxy Old Plus.
Yeah,
I leave my
that's where you gotta-
office and get in my car, and unless I reboot my phone, it takes. Today, I left my shop, sat in the line of Wendy's while they played the service timer game, got my food, consumed my food, drove down to the gas station to get some drinks for the office. By the time I got back to the office, my phone finally connected, and that was a true solid 13 minutes. It took 13 minutes for my phone to connect to their 5G after disconnecting from my Wi-Fi.
So on my Ultra, I used to have that problem. Then I just picked it just to be on LTE only, 4G, and it was fine. But now I went back, and now it seems to throttle around. I think it's more their towers than anything. I could be wrong. Anywho, because they said they're still working
But
on it.
this guy, they call him while he's fucking strapped to a goddamn wayward balloon
Yeah.
flying
Now
through
Don's
the fucking
upset, and I'm
Chinese
sure they don't have-
atmosphere.
And I'm sure it's a Huawei device too, right?
Probably a burner phone to boot.
But what is your guess on how they told him to get down?
Poke a hole.
Probably close enough. They said, when they got a hold of him on the cell phone that Don's
Turn the
pissed off
hydrogen
about
fan
the
off.
following morning, instructed him
'Cause
to
they still have singular in China, I bet.
slowly deflate the balloon to land safely.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
It took another day before he reached the ground, located 200 miles northeast
When they said slowly, he took it to heart.
in the Fangxing region, close to the border with Russia. Good thing they're friends. He was in good health, apart from the pain in his lower back, and possibly from standing the entire time he was in the air.
Why wouldn't he sit? It's a fucking basket. Those things are like
Oh,
4
yeah, that
foot
may
by
have
4
been
foot.
like
That
one of
guy's
them-
like 3.5 foot tall. He could have
like
laid
the
down.
world's smallest phone booth.
Those baskets are, usually it's big enough for the
Well, we're
balloony
those
and-
big fat American balloons. This is a whole different deal.
That's true. We are fat. We've said Vinny Torridge said, if you want to see how skinny people are in normal days, he would say, look at the video of the 1968 Woodstock. Let me say this. As somebody who just watched Trainwreck, the 1999 Woodstock, those motherfuckers were skinny too, and they weren't exactly the picture of health. So
Well,
just
you were
go-
one of them back then too, weren't you?
I know. The
My-
point being is you don't even have to go back to 1968 to look at that footage. You can look at the 1999 footage, and there wasn't a fat fuck in that audience either. Everybody was just skinnier back then. We didn't live
Yeah,
off of...
I still think that we're probably fatter than in '69.
But compared to today, and it's so funny now that apparently DoorDash doesn't like people being shamed for being lazy. And so now they're running this TV ad saying that it's not lazy to order your food from DoorDash. It's supporting local economy. So they're trying
That's their spin, huh?
Yeah, they're trying to make their users feel better for not getting off their couch for 3 weeks.
Well, one last story. This is coming out of Nicosia, Cyprus.
Eastern Bloc?
No, it's between. It's the Cyprus is the island that Greece and Turkey fight over. Close.
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, actually, yeah.
Swarthy.
A global search, and you're going to like this one, I think. A global search for the alternative sources to Russian energy during the war in Ukraine. By the way, kudos Ukraine, you're fucking pushing in. Hopefully this
Is there any
doesn't
truth
turn
to
around.
the alleged Russian asking for peace treaty now?
Yeah, they basically said it's too late. I think I read an article Zelensky said you should have done that months ago. It's too late now.
Oh, I hope he fucking. Not that I support his version of government, but I just.
Yeah, but
His people have one. They got one coming for their team. They need to. Just
you saw that they've
go
made some
right to
moves all the
Russia.
way back to push Russia back to the border, right?
Yeah, but they just
In the northeast.
fucking keep on going.
You know what's interesting? Before I get back onto this story, I was listening to a podcast with a guy who was a former CIA agent, and he, the big thing you hear is, why are we giving them our weapons? We're doing this. He goes, look at it this way. It's on how you frame it. What better way to real world test our weapons without losing our blood than to give it to somebody else and get the data points back?
And not to mention, a lot of that stuff has a shelf life, not physically, but technologically. And what a better way to get rid of some of our old inventory than, that beats the shit out of having the EOD guys blow it up, which I know an EOD guy, and that was what part of his job was to blow up old munitions and shit.
Yeah, and I think the HIMARS are probably a little more current, although they did fit for the first time ever some HARRM Sidewinder type missiles onto Soviet era fucking MiG-29s, and it worked, and they took out some shit. So good on again, I'm not real fond. I don't know enough about their government, but I do understand the type part of the world it's from.
Well, I just know that they had a thing with a Biden, so it's all you need to know. That's all the
now
Coke
you're
pictures.
a Trumpster, aren't you? You're one of them. They're going to put you on a list.
I'm already on a list. I'm a
I am
juggalo.
too.
I've been on the
I'm
FBI
registered.
domestic terrorist watch list for at least 10 years now.
Did I go on one as soon as I registered as a libertarian?
Probably, or when you ordered your first fucking.
Oh,
Don't
they're
tread
gonna
on
start
me
tracking
flag.
firearms and stuff on
Amazon. I'm sure as soon as you order the "Don't Tread on Me" flag on Amazon, you're on 15.
No.
fucking watch
It's
lists.
the thing went through. One of the things that went through is if you purchase a firearm or ammunition on a credit card, there will be a code for the type of store you're in. The big box stores, not so much. Your Bass Pros, but if it's a local gun store, there'll be a code.
Good thing I already got that plate carrier then.
Yeah, no shit, huh? You got a real one?
It's for exercise.
Anyway.
Yeah, it is. It's just the plates are for exercising.
Yeah, there you go. So the global search for the alternative sources to Russian energy during the war in Ukraine, that's where I left off, has refocused attention on smaller, easier to build nuclear power stations, which proponents say provide cheaper, more efficient alternative to older models. I am all for this. We need to do that shit here.
If the
It's the
winter,
only way you're going to go green.
if the winter in France and Germany are as bad as they're anticipating this year, because Germany went full green and fucking cut off their fucking nose and ears to spite their fucking forehead.
Is that all getting off the oil?
There's such an energy crisis there that people are reverted back to cutting down trees, and they're heating like small communities with basically blocks of compressed sawdust.
I hear that they also fired up the coal mining too.
Yeah, because they're fucked. They got a winter coming, and they have no natural. They got rid of all of it.
And I was thinking about this the other
France too.
other
And so
way.
to
when we
your
were in the
point, to your
90s
story, if this winter sucks, they may adopt those smaller nuclear power plants than otherwise, and so we may see those a lot quicker.
But and could help them go green in the long run. However, one of the thoughts I had recently was, man, I remember everybody, especially on the left, keeps saying we need to look to Europe. We need to look to Europe on how we do things.
These are the same
You see
assholes
how
who
the
think-
shit show Europe is right now?
Well, these are the same assholes now. They're like, hey, California said they're not going to sell any internal combustion engines after 2053. Maybe we
They
need
don't
to do
even
the
got
same.
enough power.
Yeah,
They
but
don't-
now
they were actually doing rolling blackouts and saying flex this and flex that. And this is something I wanted to bring up earlier because I've heard it here. We need to, because we had a cool August, but the beginning of September was record heat, and they're like, got to watch your energy. You know what? Fuck you. I'm on solar, so I already use less
I know,
energy
but
anyway.
I heard today
And
that,
they don't say that. Oh, except for the solar customers, they want everybody to use less energy.
but I heard today there's already like 4 Democratic-ran states who believe in the saying, as goes California, as goes the rest of the world. So they're thinking about
Everybody's
adopting
not.
the same fucking policy. It's like, you guys are fucking dumb.
I think California should change your state flag to a cart in front of a horse. because they put the cart in front of the horse on this electric thing. They don't even have the grid to do it.
It's fucking insane.
Cart meet horse. Anyway, France already relies on nuclear power for a majority of its electricity. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Germany kept an option of reactivating 2 older nuclear plants that it will shut down at the end of the year as the Russia cuts its natural gas. Again, good.
I have
do
a feeling
believe
that thing's going to open back up.
4th and 5th generation. What's going? Oh, that pipeline.
No, the power plants in Germany.
Oh yeah, it will. While Rolls-Royce, SMR, and its competitors have signaled or has signed deals with countries from Britain to Poland to start building these stations, they are many years away, of course, because regulatory commissions and everything else from operating and cannot solve the energy crisis currently hitting Europe, which I did notice gas is kind of creeping back up again. Right before my road trip next weekend. Nuclear power also poses risks. Everything poses a risk.
You know what'll kill you?
I get it.
You know what'll kill you? Life.
Yeah. None of us get out of it alive. So,
Well,
you know.
what if there's an earthquake? We can't
They're obviously
desalinate
worried
water?
of the highly radioactive waste. I think we've proven that it can be stored properly.
I was actually making fun of
if
the
they had
idiots.
actually used Yucca Mountain, which it sounds like they actually have some stuff out there. Remember, those were the rooms that we weren't allowed to go in that said radon.
Now I was making more of the fact that they don't want desalination plants in LA because what if there's an earthquake?
No, that's not why. It's going to suck the plankton in.
Oh, that's right.
And then that's going to affect the migration of the whales. Even though they were going to green some of the old areas of the power, they're using an old power station for this.
Not to mention fucking LA dumps your goddamn toxic fucking shit in the ocean. Like that's not.
You mean all the human flop that just gets
so
pushed
that
down
doesn't
there?
affect the goddamn plankton. But
these
anywho,
guys are
we
idiots.
digress.
You know, I understand where they're coming from, but there's a point where you're getting your emotions are overrunning your logic, and then you try to make the logical sound like they're the crazy.
Let's stabilize our society, and then we will work on progress.
Let's come to the middle, just a little bit. And look, the right is just as fucking guilty. This company right here keeps getting hit by the far right, saying, "Oh, you don't supply, Kyle Rittenhouse." The dude doesn't want to make money off a tragedy, shit like that. So it's like they're just as bad. If you don't march lockstep with whichever side, you're now on the other side, and it's horseshit.
Tribalism.
And, it's pussy think. You're not nuanced enough to look at the different things. Anywho, moving
Sir,
on.
I just want to let you know that I am an avid user of DuckDuckGo, so yeah.
I like Brave Browser. Sounds like DuckDuckGo still does a little tracking.
Of course they do. They need money for revenue, much like T-Mobile selling my phone number to fucking scammers. But I digress.
And then you turn around and say, "We got a scam shield for you." Anywho, that's pretty much it. So they're going to be trying to ramp that up. I am getting a little hesitant seeing other smaller countries quibbling more and fighting more around that whole area. It just looks like everything is kind of...
Now here's Gordon with some news and shit.
Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Go ahead.
Everything's kind of coming together where things ain't going to go right. You got China and Russia doing their practice drills, and we don't hear about this stuff in our mainstream press because, we just want to bury our heads in the sand and still talk about COVID.
That's because there's an election they got to focus on, and they don't want to point out all the shit that
Well, they
Biden's
done
doing
fucked
wrong.
the pig today because stock market took a shit. They're going to raise the interest rates probably another 0.75% by the end of the week.
Yeah, another article out of Biden just can't catch a fucking break. The day he has his Rose Garden premiere talking about the recession debilitation plan or whatever bullshit title they gave it.
Yeah, and that's funny because they say, "Oh, we're not in a recession." Well, and this is Yellen. The technical definition of recession is 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. And her thing is, well, we still got more jobs than people. That's not the part of the definition. It's 2 negative
But
quarters of negative growth.
They're focusing on changing the definition.
Well, we got to change the definition for everything because if you're a patriot, if you look just a little conservative, you are now a conspiracy. You are now the enemy, and you need to be re-educated.
And on that note, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of What's in Your Head podcast. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. If you want to support the show, please head over to d-410.com and click on the Patreon link and subscribe. You can also check out some of the advertisements we have there for heart rate monitors, fishing equipment, and the like. And thank you guys for your continued support. On behalf of myself and Gordon, we will talk to you all next week.
This has been a Digital 410 production.